A friend of mine had asked me the other day, are miracles necessary to get you to heaven? Or will miracles cause people to believe? Now, I thought about it for a little bit and I thought I came up with an answer, but decided to go and check Scripture because Scripture is the only thing that we can depend on to be 100% accurate 100% of the time. And we don't want to rest on our opinions. So I was looking through the book of John, and this is in chapter 12. Now, this is right after Jesus had raised Lazarus from the dead. And so we opened chapter 12, and everyone's sitting there at dinner. You know, Lazarus is there and all of his friends and family. And many of the people that had been there at the tomb, they were actually there present when Jesus called Lazarus out of the tomb. Now, he had been in there for 4 days. Everyone knew he was long dead. They even said, you know, he's stinking, you know, we don't want to get him out of there. But, you know, he called him forth and he was alive. And so all these people saw that. They physically saw it with their own eyes. Go down a little further in the chapter, and this is in around verse 28, and you see some of these same people, they actually audibly heard the voice of God the Father speaking from heaven to Jesus. So that's two very monumental miracles that most people are never going to get anywhere close to replicating. You know, they actually saw someone raised from the dead and they heard the voice of God speaking from heaven. And go further still, this is down in verse 37. And listen to this, and this just blows my mind. It says, "But though he had done so many miracles before them, yet they believed not on him." So these people had seen someone come back from the dead. They'd heard God speak from heaven. Many of them had probably seen some of the other miracles that Jesus had performed, but they didn't believe. See, if miracles were enough to get people to believe, then the world would have believers all over. But see, people don't believe just because they see a miracle. You know, they think that that's just something fantastic or if it's something really interesting, but it doesn't cause people to start to believe God. You know, that's a heart condition. That's something that is central to your inner being and who you are and what you're seeking. If you're just looking for something that you consider miraculous, something that is monumental, or something that you think is supernatural, you may find it, but it's not going to cause you to believe God. You know, that's something that we have to do when we don't have something in front of our eyes, when we don't see something that gives us reason or verifiable proof to believe the God of the universe. You know, that's something that happens in here, that each of us have to come to that on our own without outside evidence other than just believing the words of God. You know, and I looked up some other scriptures that, you know, and we see all through, like in the book of Matthew and the book of Luke, that so many people, they followed Jesus around. They followed the other disciples around just because they wanted to see something. It says like here in Luke 23:8 that Herod, you know, he saw Jesus. He was exceeding glad, for he was desirous to see him for a long season. He had heard many things of him, and he hoped to have seen some miracle done by him. See, Jesus was just a spectacle to him. He was a sideshow performer. He wanted to see some great things, maybe get some of his water turned into wine, you know, to feed to his, give to his guests. But he didn't actually believe that he was God or that he on the mission that he was there for. He just wanted to see something. And we see that so much today in America and the church all over the world that, you know, people just want to see something. You know, show us a sign, show us something, entertain us, you know, give us another show. But they still don't believe God when they go away. They're just looking for something that, you know, catches their fancy, entertains them for a little bit, and then they can go on about their lives. So, you know, are miracles necessary for you to believe? No, they are not. Will you see a miracle in your lifetime? Maybe, maybe you won't. It depends on what you think a miracle is. You know, I'm in recovery. I know a lot of people that are in recovery, and I can tell you beyond a shadow of a doubt that I see miracles every day. I see people that have been drug addicts for 10, 20, 30 years get sober. Their lives get back together. Their marriages are restored. They have relationships rebuilt with their children. That's a miracle. And, you know, that's not something that happens every single day all over the world, you know, just by happenstance. That takes the power of God to do that. And while I would love to see some miraculous healing in my own life or in the lives of others, having, you know, God come and live inside of you, redeeming you, reconciling you to him, is a far greater miracle than any temporal physical benefit that we could get down here. So I'm not trying to downplay miracles. I'm not trying to say that, no, they don't happen anywhere in the world today. But what I am saying is, don't be like these people here in the first century going around, show us something, give us something that we can write home about, that we can tell people about, that we can hop on Twitter and Facebook and everywhere else and tell everybody about this cool thing that we saw today. Just believe God for who he is and for the record that he's given us, and trust him that whether or not he heals us, whether he performs some miracle for us down here and now, but that he's taken us home, and that is the greatest miracle of all.